Hello and welcome back to Scaled Down Customs. This is going to be part 2 of Revell's 1971 Olds 442, the W-30 package. And so when we last left off, I had just gotten this thing into clear, so we're going to let that cure off a little bit more. And then we've got a few more things like putting on the chrome trim, sanding out and polishing out my imperfections in the clear, my dust spots and some of the high spots. Sometimes the clear will like to collect and pool up around the panel lines. So sometimes I like to kind of just flat sand those down, block sand those down. So we'll be working on that a little bit later, let that cure up a little more. I've been kind of working on a few other things, getting some things detail painted up. For example, I got the interior door cards just kind of detail painted, just the chrome trim around the wood paneling. So on the decals, I put the decals down and then I went over it with a dull coat and then just touched up, painted the rest of the window cranks and the chrome trim, some stuff like that. So just been moving ahead with a few things here and there. I got some charcoal carpet on the interior, finished up with that. And so now we're going to move ahead with the engine block and transmission. So what I'm going to do before I start assembling this thing up is I want to add a wash to it. And then we'll be ready to start putting some stuff together. So for my wash, I'm just going to be using this Mr. Weathering color, the multi-black. And if you've seen my other videos, you know how this goes. I put this on pretty heavy, and then I pull it, most of it back off with the Solvent 110, which allows it to kind of settle into the recesses and just add some shadow and depth to the parts. It's a little bit of a messy process, but we're going to get this thing coated and then take a lot of it back off. So let's do that. Then I think we'll be ready to start putting some stuff together. Yeah, that just really deepens those shadows and just kind of makes it stand out a little bit more, not look so toy-like. Anyway, so I'm going to let that dry up and then I think we'll be ready to start putting some stuff together. All right, so I've let my clear coat cure up, and of course I always get dust spots in it, so we're going to work on getting those dust spots out. So to do that, I'm just going to be doing some wet sanding. I've got just a little bit of water, and I put 1 drop of soap in there, and then I've got a 3000 grit wet dry sandpaper, and then I'll move up to a 5000. This is more of like a polishing pad. But yeah, I just want to get these dust spots out, and then maybe flatten it up over the decals a little bit, and then the panel lines, the door jambs and stuff. Clear coats kind of like to pool on those edges, so I want to smooth that off a little bit too. But mostly I'm just going to be trying to get some of these dust spots out. So anywhere when you're kind of wet sanding, anywhere you see gloss still is a low spot. That just means the sandpaper hasn't gotten to that spot yet, so that's lower than the rest of it. So if you're trying to really smooth stuff off, if you still see gloss when you're trying to wet sand and get it as smooth as you can, then you just need to sand a little bit more. So I've got some of those dust spots out. I'm going to work on this door jamb a little bit more, and then start hitting some of the rest of this, and then we'll get to polishing. All right, so I got my dust spots wet sanded out and kind of smoothed off some of the where the decals are, and the door jambs, panel lines, stuff like that. So kind of a nice dull finish there. So now we're ready to polish this back out again. So I have my heavy duty construction grade close quarters drill, just because my Dremel just spins too fast. And then I'm just going to be using some regular automotive grade polish. And we're just going to polish this out. And then, so my orange sponge is my stiffest sponge, and then we'll move down to my yellow, which is a little softer, and then the black, which is the softest. So we're going to be polishing this back out again, back up to a nice shine. All right, and after the first pass, that looks amazing. Okay, I'm gonna get the rest of this car polished up, and then we'll keep going. All right, so I finished polishing out the body, and then I did go ahead and get the chrome trim installed, the bare metal foil, and then just a little extra detail painting, just finishing up some of the marker lights and the windshield wipers. So I think we're ready for some final assembly. So I'm just gonna start moving forward with that. All right, so we're getting close to finishing this thing up. Everything is going together actually pretty smoothly, except for the radiator insert. There's not very clear register marks of where that goes, so I think I put it up too far to the front, which is not allowing the chassis plate to meet the interior tub as accurately as it should. But by the time I realized that, I had everything pretty much glued in, and I didn't want to rip it apart. But with the exception of the unclear register marks for the radiator, everything is just going together really, really smoothly. I don't have to pry the body too much to get pieces to go in, and things are just really, really going together nicely. I did get some glue, I think. So sometimes when the glue gets really stringy, when I touch it to parts and I let go too quickly, the string will kind of snap back, and if there's any static on the body, which there generally is, it'll snap to the body, and that's what that is there. So not a big deal. It's just a little more elbow grease to get that out. So it just takes some, again, just like you would any blemish in your clear coat, sanding and then polishing that out again. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. With this, I might be able to just get away with just my polishing cloth and then the polishing sponges to get that out. But anyway, that's how you take care of any glue that gets on your body. Same thing with your glass as well, with your windows. If you get any glue or anything on your windows, same thing. You can wet sand those out and polish them out just like you would your body. Works really, really well. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with assembly, get that glue off the top, off the roof taken care of, and we should be finishing this thing up pretty quick. All right, so I have one glass piece left over, and evidently that is the dome light. And I was looking through the instructions and I must have missed it somewhere. I actually don't see it listed as in the instructions anywhere. So now that I've got everything together, we're going to try to install this and see how it goes. All right, I actually got it. Nice. All right. All right, and with that hood going in, that is it. This build is done. And again, I know I keep saying this, I am really impressed with how the pieces went together on this one. I struggled with the hood just to get it lined up in there. I think I have my hood mounts a little bit too wide or something, but got it in there. Yeah, I am really happy with how this build came out. And I know I've said this before too, but I believe that Revell is the best bang for your buck. They're just good kits. They're making them better. And I'm really grateful that Revell sent this over to me to build for you guys. So I'm going to get my fingerprints wiped off, get this ready for the photo op, and that'll do it for this build. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.